Ms. Sybil Goldrich.
Good afternoon. My name is Sybil Goldrich, and I have been since 1988 an advocate for women's health regarding breast implants. I currently serve on the Claimants Advisory Committee of the Dow Corning bankruptcy and was a member of the negotiating team of MDL 926, the litigation that covered all implants except those of Dow Corning. I am not a lawyer. I serve on those committees at the request of Federal District Court Judge Sam C. Pointer and Denise Page Hood in Michigan. Sam C. Pointer is deceased. After writing an article for Ms. Magazine about my own horrific experience with leaking breast implants following bilateral mastectomy, the FDA, I thank you FDA, they asked me to come and speak at an advisory committee in 1988. During that meeting, Dr. Sid Wolf of Public Citizen testified that smooth cell carcinoma had been documented in silicone-implanted laboratory animals. And now, 30 years later, we're discussing anaplastic large cell lymphoma caused by implants in humans. I just find that a little bit of a disconnect. I also heard today that renal cell carcinoma may be involved. I have had renal cell carcinoma. Breast implants were invented in the early 60s and have been available to patients for close to 60 years. And we're still arguing about their safety. I find that unacceptable and astonishing. Well over 500,000 women applied for benefits in MDL 926, the litigation that covered injuries to claimants caused by all manufacturers except for Dow Corning. Thousands more claimants came forward with the Dow Corning bankruptcy. The injuries claimed and ultimately covered by the funds in the litigation are those that are still documented in the manufacturer's current package insert. The manufacturers agreed to compensate claimants for their injuries, which acknowledges that the manufacturers clearly understood that the claims were valid. Over $3 billion in compensation, and that does not include the overhead to distribute $3 billion, has been paid to injured women, and they are not yet done. However, these women were not only physically injured, but also had to deal with being accused by the breast implant companies, plastic surgeons, and the media as being greedy. I know what these women have gone through, and I assure you that's not the case. In fact, payments made to these women were barely enough to cover their medical expenses. In 2006, the FDA approved silicone gel breast implants made by two companies. The approval was contingent on two 10-year studies of 40,000 women each. But the companies lost track of most of the patients, making those studies useless. You know, if I didn't come in with my homework, I'd be in trouble. And if the FDA doesn't have a financial arm to find people, they should put a big ad in the newspaper, delinquent. My last remark, I'm asking you to understand the sense of urgency felt by all the women who have traveled here today. We are asking that you demand the manufacturers fulfill the requirements that you set forth when approving breast implants and that have been blatantly ignored. Thank you.